Hi, welcome to our video. Our ongoing adventures in Granada.
This is our 7th week in Spain. We got less than 2 weeks to go. We are early retirees that are traveling, and this is our personal video diary, and I think our parents watch it, so we are not professional YouTubers. You are Jobless Jason.
Jobless Jason and Lazy
I
Leslie.
don't like
Yeah, we still like it.
Yeah.
My dad asked me the other day if we still liked it.
We still like it. We do miss some comforts of our own home.
Yep, it's comfort to the own home.
Like-
It's a lot easier. I'm not going to complain because you really can't complain.
I
But
like a comfortable couch.
there are comforts in knowing the culture, knowing the language. It's hard to even describe.
And ease.
Yeah, just
in
like
life.
things that are so easy can become very difficult, and you don't want to do them. Like buying fruit at a fruit stand,
Going to the pharmacy, which we need to do.
going to the
again. We're
pharmacy
putting it
again, going to using the self checkout at a store.
off. Oh, that was bad.
I don't
We'll
know,
get to that.
$2, but
So we left off on Friday, February 21st. We did our video that morning, and we were going to the Jose Rodriguez Acosta Foundation,
Yeah.
which I had found free tickets for. We had walked by the place and didn't really know what it was. So we found out it was a painting studio built specifically by this artist to paint at.
but we didn't know that until we went in.
We didn't know that.
The tour guide told us
Yeah.
we went for free.
Yeah, I love free. So he set up like Italian gardens and Greek gardens, and apparently he just sat in his garden and painted.
But I kind of took it as he had other people come and do stuff too. But maybe I don't know.
Yeah,
She would speak a lot to the Spanish people, and then to us it was real quick. But we didn't really have the other ladies that were Spanish were asking questions back, but
we just went because it was free.
yeah, and to see what it
Nothing to
was.
do, yeah.
And we don't have like a lot of interest in art type stuff,
No.
so
And they had his nephew's art, which was really bad,
yeah,
on display, and the actual artist,
yeah.
not the uncle, was actually really good. We did see one painting of his because the museum is closed. That he did at 16, and it was pretty impressive. But we did have, there were 7 other people on our tour group. One young woman was from Tunisia, and she lives in Spain, so I think she does speak some Spanish, but did listen to the English version. And then we had like 6 Spanish grandmas. One lady's 80, we found out during conversations, but they were kind of funny because they bantered back and forth, and then they'd tell our tour guide to translate it for us so we could be involved.
Yeah. Yeah. The tour guide would talk to us.
Yeah.
And then they would jump in and ask her questions. And then, like in the United States, the tour guide would be turned off by that. But
Yeah.
the tour guide seemed to like it. And then she would be like, they want me to ask you
Yeah.
this.
They want to know where we were from, and we won the award for traveling the furthest. And the one lady was 80, and she drinks water from a special place.
Well, they
in
told us
Spain.
some mountain to
Yeah.
go up to that
The
has
Sierra
the
Nevada.
best water. And it's supposed to be like regenerative water.
Yeah, and the lady that was
Fountain of
80, she looked good.
But she didn't really drink it. She was just kind of
Yeah.
They said, tell them she drinks the water.
And she came up to us with our water bottle and kind
Yeah.
of talked about it. So
Yeah.
they did know a little bit of English. The lady, we talked about going to a garden, and she walked up to you with her paper to show us where to look on the website, and told us it was only on the weekdays or weekends, vice versa.
Not
but
today.
Not today. So that was kind of fun. I mean, the place was sort of run down. I'm glad we
It was
didn't
fun.
pay for it.
It was fine.
Favorite word. Then that night we went to the mall again. We've never been shopping. I say shopping. In stores so much. We don't buy things, so we
Yeah.
can't call it shopping.
And we don't really go in them.
No.
We just kind of walk by.
walk by
walk
stores.
in quickly and leave.
Yeah.
But it wasn't as crowded as like Jerez.
Right. And
I was hoping for large crowds. That was the point of going
Friday
back.
night, and it did get crowded, but that mall was gigantic.
It's so giant, yeah.
So we got home at like 9:45, which was late for us. We just rode the metro again.
Which was packed again.
It was very crowded.
Standing room only, squeezed in.
That was fun. And then Saturday, the 22nd, was the day of the soccer game.
Yeah.
You want to talk about the soccer game?
Well, I bought the tickets, and it had on my screen that I did a screenshot of that it was at 12:30. So we got all ready. It was raining that morning, so I had all the rain gear, had everything packed up, ready to go.
Towels, bags for our seats.
Yeah, everything for rain. But we knew the rain was supposed to end at like 12, so it would have been fine. But walked to the train, and then
I got out my phone to make sure I could look at my ticket when we got there. And my ticket said 18:30.
Yeah, 18:30, 6:30. But what I realized is I looked at it on my computer, which is still in the U.S. time zone. So the website was showing me the U.S. time zone, which I didn't realize.
So fortunately, we found out before we got onto the metro.
Although I would have much rather had it at 12:30 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
But it wasn't that way.
No.
Turned out it was in the evening.
So we just went grocery shopping. I worked on updating our budget some, and then we left again at 5 o'clock for the second time. And when we got there in the morning, we're like, "Oh, the train's not crowded. This will be great."
Yeah, it is, which is weird.
And then the second time,
it was packed,
crowded.
But it's always packed in the evening, so it wasn't any more packed because it was a game day.
Well, and then our ticket said to go in a certain gate.
So just an example of how nothing is
so
easy.
Gate 6, 7, and 8 had signs, and I could see on the ticket that we had to walk around the building to get to gate 2. So we did. We walked around. We find a gate. It's not marked. We go through the little pat down.
Yeah, security guards pat you down.
Look in my bag.
Females for females, males for males.
I mean, it was just like
quick.
I don't know what they're looking for.
Nothing.
And then our tickets won't work at the turnstile to get in because we were at gate 1,
not
2. So we had to go around to gate 2 and go through the whole
pat down again.
Process again.
And then you used my ticket, so the guy couldn't get my.
Yeah.
I had to switch to her ticket, which was fine.
Yeah.
He had to just fool around with it. He didn't seem like he understood what was happening. But anyways, just everything becomes a little bit one step harder.
And then the lady told us where to go for our section, and we get up there, and it's down at the bottom where you're walking up the stairs, the number for the section. You get up there and their number is missing. So we asked the guy that was showing the seats. So you had to walk through this section, up the stairs, behind another section to get to our section that didn't have any markings whatsoever.
So he was confused also.
Yeah, he took us to the wrong section at first. And then took us
kept
to the
looking at the seats and then figured out. But then actually I figured it out because I went back and I counted the rows and it made sense. I think he just must have miscounted when he was walking because if you weren't really paying attention, you would miss the row.
And he didn't really speak English, and he kind of apologized to us, but we were fine.
It was fine. Yeah.
What was interesting was that we took in a little bag of candy, but people brought in the guys in front of us had a grocery bag full of chips and the giant sunflower seeds.
You could bring anything you
could
want.
bring anything.
Except for fireworks, but people brought fireworks.
Yeah, they brought I guess it's a firework. I mean, not like a...
Yeah, I don't know.
Something
I never saw
bad.
it. Just you smelled, but I'm sure if you were down lower, you could probably see it.
So they did sell drinks somewhere. We saw people with drinks where they took the cap off, I guess, so that you couldn't throw it into the field. And people had these tiny little cups of beer.
Yeah.
But I don't know where they sold that.
We didn't look. And then sunflower seeds. They love sunflower seeds.
Giant sunflowers.
Yeah, they're giant, biggest sunflower seeds I've ever seen. But I hadn't seen anybody eat them. But apparently, soccer games are the place you eat sunflower seeds because everybody was eating them, and you throw them all over the ground, and there's piles of sunflower seeds, which is odd. Different than our stadiums because there's just things like that we're not allowed to bring in. That I recall.
And like the guy in front of us was vaping. There were people at the back of the stand smoking.
Yeah. Just different.
So it was good. We got there like almost an hour early.
Sun was still up.
Sun was out. It was pleasant. We were on the sunny side.
Yeah, sun in our face.
And then the sun went down.
And then it got really cold.
It was very windy, which I think was part of the problem.
But you could see the mountains in the background, so it's probably mountain wind with snow. It was freezing.
It was pretty freezing.
Yeah, should have worn more clothes, but it's hard when you don't have a lot of clothes.
Well, I said, sitting there, I was like, I think I'm wearing 2/3 of the clothes I brought on this trip.
But I think a lot of people were probably freezing too. And so we made it through half, and then decided we would leave at about 75 minutes out of the 90. And the score was 2-0.
Because we were like, we're going to be able to ride the metro if we leave this early.
If we leave it was freezing cold today. It was so cold too. I mean, shivering cold.
But your hands were completely white.
My hands were turning white. Yeah, it was just, usually I don't want to leave, but it was pretty freaking cold.
If it's cold, if you're cold, it's cold.
And so 2-0. So we waited to 80 minutes. And it was still 2-0. Granada winning. And Granada had a red card early on that they were playing with 10 people and they were still winning. And I just figured, well, okay, it's cold. We're going to go catch that train.
The other team wasn't doing like fantastic.
Yeah, they were just, So we walked out to the train to catch it, which there were a few people. I mean, it was a crowd still. And the train rolls up and is completely jammed packed. Like the train always is. It's just they need to run more trains, but
plus we were the second stadium stop. If you left the stadium at a different exit, you got on the train first. So
that's what we should have done.
Yeah.
But so everybody was already packed on, and there was just absolutely no room unless you wanted to ride on top of the train.
And before we left the stadium, I'm like, well, we're gonna ride the metro. I don't need to stop in the bathroom because this will be quick.
Yep.
And you never passed up a bathroom ever.
We even talked about getting a coffee. We're like, oh, we'll get a coffee and we'll have time. And none of this worked out.
Well, we went. So we didn't get on the train. It was too crowded. Neither of us wanted on there. So Burger King was across the street. And we're like, oh, let's go get like hot chocolate and warm up for a minute.
Hot chocolate?
Well, I thought they did. Or coffee or something.
Hot coffee.
Something hot.
Yeah.
And we got there and they had nothing hot available to drink. So at that point, we decided we're going to walk back, which is about 3 miles.
Yeah, about 3 miles. About an hour, which wasn't bad.
No, it wasn't too bad. But we didn't
warm up.
And you
warmed up. Well, it took a while.
It took a long time.
It took a long time to warm up. But as we were walking almost back, I was like, well, let me look at the game score. Thinking it might have been 3-0, but no, it ended up being 2-2. But they didn't score till 90. The other team scored 90 plus 2 and 90 plus 4. So we probably would have been gone anyways. I bet most people were gone by that time, was my thought. Makes me feel better. And I watched the highlights, which they weren't exciting goals. I think Granada just sort of gave up, and I don't know why. They thought they were going to win, and they thought they were going to win. They kind of let 2 easy ones go in. So
then we knew it was going to be Sunday the next day, so we stopped at the grocery store. We got there at like 9:15 and picked up couple things, snacks mainly. So then Sunday, we got up. I booked train tickets finally for Malaga. Started reading a little bit about Malaga. We did laundry, and then we went to Viejo.
Oh, yeah.
So the former Jewish neighborhood.
Yeah, Jewish quarter, but not much. There's nothing there really from what once was. That was 1492. They got kicked out.
Yeah.
So
Been a while.
it's been a while.
So just walked around there, and then the plan was to walk to Pad Thai Walk on the way back and get carry out, which we did.
Our
But it was-
favorite Spanish restaurant,
Yeah.
Pad Thai Walk.
It was Sunday afternoon, and only restaurants are open on Sunday, no stores, so the restaurants are packed. So we went in and we were able to order really easily, but we probably had to wait
25 minutes.
Maybe.
Yeah.
And before that, when we were walking, we passed this bakery that I saw a few days prior that had something that appeared to be a chocolate chip cookie. And I didn't look the first time, but we passed it again, and I was like, I'm going in. And you're like, you're going to buy something? And I was like, I am. And they had a chocolate chip cookie, which they called American cookie. And they were pretty big. And they had chocolate chips only on top, not like mixed in. And they were what,
€2.50 or something.
€2.30 each. We bought two, which is shocking. That was a splurge. And they were actually
they were
pretty
good.
good. I mean, I'd go back and get one.
Well, I'm sure we will.
It had sugar, which is always a problem for finding
Sweet
something
things.
that's really sweet here.
So we'll go back and we'll ask them what else American they have.
If they had anything else
I don't think
American.
that was it.
So then we took a nap. What's funny is, well, I don't know if it happened Sunday, but a lot of times we rest in the afternoon at like 4 o'clock
During siesta.
during siesta. We've already had like a late lunch, which is really lunch dinner. And this couch is so uncomfortable. Like you sit on it and the springs go pow.
Yeah.
So a lot of times we're resting in bed, but the next door neighbor has 2 kids and they take piano lessons.
It's kind of like self-taught.
But they always play at like 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
So you can get in there and
it's
it's just
the
like
same.
reading, and it's the same ding, ding, ding.
Same thing over and over.
Every day. It's pretty funny.
It doesn't last long though. It's
No.
like probably 10 to 15 minutes.
The other day there was a song, so maybe that was like a parent that played
maybe.
it. But it's pretty funny because it's like clockwork.
And then
in a way.
occasionally there's like a flute or something that they blow, but it's not consistent. And
Probably like a recorder.
yeah.
And then I was trying to figure out our fall travel plans, which we are still struggling with. And then Monday we finally went to the Alhambra, like for real. We've been there a few times.
Walking on the outside.
On the outside, the free parts, the forest. But it was sort of a frustrating
Yeah, it's
experience.
chaos.
And we're
It's-
highly anxious people, which
doesn't
doesn't
help.
help.
So I mean, it's fine. It's just a crowd of people, and
So you had to have a timed ticket to go in the Nasrid Palace,
Yeah.
which is the fanciest part.
Sultan's Palace.
Yeah, and it is the most preserved part. So it's timed entry, and we had a 1:30 ticket. So we left at 10. It was about a 40-minute walk, I think, and we went to the Alcazaba, which is like the old fortress part first. And then
Then there's a long line that forms to go into the Nasrid Palace.
we'd read online that
Yeah, you read all these horror stories.
it's
online.
chaotic. Online it said you had 30 minutes to enter. So if your ticket was at 1:30, you could enter between 1:30 and 2. But then there were stories about people that got there 2 minutes late from their scheduled time, so 2:02 per se, and were not allowed in. So
Stories of people fighting in front of those people with
Yeah.
the people trying to get in, and then them being late and not
and
being.
then, yeah,
We read too much. You read too much.
I read a lot.
Like created too much anxiety over the whole thing.
So the line was very long, moving very slow because we sat and watched it for a while.
And it's not done. It's not there's no signs. There's nothing to tell you how to do anything. And as it turns out, it apparently works the way it is.
It could be so much better.
It could be so much better, but that's how things are.
Yeah.
It's just sort of, yeah.
I'm like, if I spoke Spanish, I could fix this in 10 minutes. So we got in line once.
Then we found the guy who was at the back of the line telling people they didn't have to be in line until 10 minutes before their time.
Well, we got in line once, and it went rather quickly, so we were going to be way too early.
Yeah.
So we got out of line again and went to the back. And that's when the guy was like, you need to get in line 10 minutes, so you get in line at 1:20. And you said to him...
And past all these people that are in line?
You said, well, what if it's time to go in and we're not up there? Do I pass everybody? And he's like, no.
No, just wait in line.
You just wait in line. So
what we were thinking is that there were people in line that were paranoid like we were with 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock tickets thinking, oh my gosh, I got to get in this line. But apparently that wasn't the case, as it turns out.
probably not.
So we overdid it in our heads.
Yes. So we went back through the line again and ended up at the front at like 1 o'clock.
Yeah, and then stood there.
So we didn't want to get in trouble, and we knew if we got in the line at that point, we probably wouldn't get in. So we just pulled ourselves out of the line and kind of hid from the ticket guy behind this umbrella.
Yeah, because if they see you, they'd be like, get to the back
Get
of
in
the
the
line.
line. So we waited there, and at 1:30,
Yeah, we started hearing that the people in line had 1:30
1:30.
tickets. So they had somehow made it through the line and got there at 1:30. It would have been fine.
so we
Edged in line.
edged in front of 2 Australian men.
Who didn't seem to like that.
Well, the guy said, there's a queue. And we said, yeah, we've been waiting. And we told a fib. We said, we were early, so they told us to wait over here and get back in line. And he's like, well, everyone's waited in this queue. And I was like, we did wait in the queue. And the other guy said, yeah, I was in line and saw you standing there. So,
They were together. They were a couple.
So we got in line, and you weren't conversing with
No,
me.
I
You were
decided I
angry.
wasn't going to talk. No, I wasn't angry. I just wasn't going to talk to a person who was being kind of rude. And you were talking to him. But anyways, he apologized. But
Well, he said you never know with Spanish people and lines, and he talked about being like skiing,
yeah, he
and
said
apparently it's like
everybody
the
passes.
elbow and everything.
It's just the way it is. And it didn't matter because we were all getting in at the same time. We all had the same ticket. So it wasn't worth putting thought into.
But we were frustrated.
Yeah, we were frustrated just with the whole thing.
And then
And just for an example, the lady that telling people, I think there was a lady standing there that I don't know what her job was, but she was watching people in the line.
but not helping people.
But not helping people. She was just standing there, and she may have had something to do with the app that you download to listen to the audio guide, but I don't know. But she would just yell at people who were eating, because people were standing in this line, so they would start eating whatever food they had with them, and she would tell them that she didn't care, but they weren't supposed to be eating there. And she would pick people out and go tell them that. And I don't know. I don't care, but you're not supposed to be eating that. Okay. So it's just weird. Just a different way of doing things. And we don't understand it because it's not our natural stuff. So.
And the audio, we did have the audio tour that they provided, which was this special AI app. But all the rooms in the palace had an audio tour with numbers that no longer exists or is available on the website.
Yeah.
So we had pretty much no information on the inside because you couldn't like buy an audio tour to listen to, and the one that was marked that you could get information is not available on their website. So only this alternative app
that you have to log into.
and it didn't have the same numbers or
It
anything.
didn't match up.
There weren't QR codes to scan. So that was frustrating because we walked around and didn't really have much information.
I mean, it's kind of the way things are here, though. It's just the way it is.
But it was nice.
Yeah,
it
was nice.
It's pretty amazing that they could do that in the 1200s. And
yeah, it's something. It is one of those things that you need to see if you're here. You should.
Yeah.
It's just there's a lot of hassle and frustration involved, which is kind of what we read too.
Yeah,
it's
we did
sort
read
of that's what it.
And had we not been up there twice already, kind of like scoping it out, it would have probably been much more frustrating.
Yeah.
Because we weren't even given a map when we got in, but other people had maps, so I don't know.
Yeah, it's just always it's just the way it works. Everything's just sort of you don't know.
And then so we did that, and then we walked to the Generalife, which was like the summer home area, but I mean it's visible from the Alhambra.
Mm-hmm.
But it was supposed to be cooler. I don't know why.
Yeah, I don't know.
It was not like it was a different location.
A little bit higher elevation.
Yeah, maybe the way it was built.
Yeah, maybe more of a breeze with the.
So we have been looking kind of forward to that because we've seen it, and we walk through, and then we're like in the courtyard, and before we know it, there's a sign that says like exit. We were like, wait a minute. So we didn't see any of the rooms really.
I don't think there were any rooms. I don't know.
I don't know what happened.
I don't think there were any rooms.
It was just mainly gardens.
Yeah, I think it was mainly gardens.
So we went through there, went through the gardens. It was good. I mean, I'm glad we went.
Yeah, it's nice. It's crowded. I mean, you're in winter in the off season, and it is crowded. Yeah. So summertime would be really crowded.
Yeah. So. I mean,
but it's a major attraction in Spain.
It's the most visited attraction in Spain. 8,500 people a day.
That are allowed in. Lots of people denied entrance.
And walk around.
Yeah.
Because you have to buy tickets like in the summer months in advance. So we probably got back at 4 or later. So it was a long day.
Long day.
We had leftover Thai food, which was fantastic. And then it was Monday, so we had to go grocery shopping.
Which is packed.
And we went with every other person that lives in Granada. And we went to Mercadona. Did we also go to Carrefour?
Probably. I don't know. Maybe the next day we went to Carrefour.
Yeah.
I think we were going to, but then we waited because it was so crowded.
It was crowded. And then finally on Tuesday, the 25th.
Walked all the way back up there again.
All the way past up.
And past it.
So like an hour walk.
Yeah. To the San Jose Cemetery behind the Alhambra. Which that was so much more pleasant because people don't go to the cemetery, so it makes it nice.
It was quiet.
They always had the best views.
Birds were chirping.
Yeah.
No one was there. They had a free bathroom.
Yeah.
They had a lookout like platform, a mirador.
Lots of views of the mountains.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's some people that have dug homes into the hillside. That was kind of interesting that we could see.
You could watch a guy working on his house. Building his house.
He had like
into the hillside.
Like a long complex, like probably what was going to be like the indoor part, and then he had like a seating area with a table and chairs, and then he had the kitchen.
Yeah.
So he had like a wooden stand with 3 plastic tubs built into it.
Some clean dishes, and we say house. I mean, this is
a shed.
Yeah, it's like cave dwellers, kind of like the modern cave dwellers. Yeah.
He was building a wooden frame.
Yeah, and I mean, they didn't look like homeless people. The ones that we saw. I guess they're homeless, but
and they have a home.
But there's some odd laws with squatting in this country, so it might be that if you want to live on the hillside, maybe you eventually own that land. Or I mean, maybe no one's even there. It's not going to be wanted land because it's so steep.
Yeah. And then in the cemetery, I saw a guy that had 2 or 3 giant containers and some other bottles because there's water at the cemetery for all the flowers, filling all that up, and he had a cart, and he walked outside of the gate and went back to that area. So he must have a dwelling there also. And then we went and saw the memorial to the
Civil War
people that were...
Which is outside the cemetery, but I guess they were shot along the walls.
Was it like a one-time like massacre or just
over the years?
So that was interesting.
Yeah, that was neat.
Yeah.
And, some weird guy stopped on his bike and stared at us for
And
a
it
while.
wasn't marked. Like, you only knew it was there because you found it online.
Yeah, I found it online.
There were no signs for it, and it was kind of like
Behind the
gravel.
cemetery.
Yeah, it was weird.
No signs. Just sort of, okay.
What
But yet they had a memorial inside the cemetery also.
Yeah.
So it's just different. It's a different way of doing things.
And a cleaning lady came while we were gone, so that was good. I have to be rested, but it was piano practice, so yeah, we just read and look at the internet. Two wonderful piano music. And then yesterday we didn't really.
Just hung out.
We went for a walk, just to like some random parts. We went to
different garden.
Zaideen neighborhood, which is like the furthest out neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
And we found a garden.
That closed at
2 o'clock, and we got there at 20 till 2. So we walked.
Closed at 2, but then it opened up again
At
5 or something.
6.
6 for 2 hours.
Or 4.
Yeah, something.
Something like that.
And there was no signage.
No.
There was
It was like
an
the
old,
mayor's house at one point.
Yeah, mayor's house, but then there was like an old, maybe a mill of some sort. I'm not sure. But there was no signage, and I looked up online, and it said it's a shame there's no signs here for the history.
And there was like a waterway and a pool area and a tower, so we don't know
some
if that
sort
was
of
like
factory
mill
or mill or something.
Who knows? And then last night, just to get our steps in, we went to El Corte Inglés, which is like the main
Giant shopping store.
shopping chain store here. And this is the one that has the department store and the supermarket attached. So I went there. I've been looking for
And
a
the
new
Hypercore.
The Hypercore. That's the supermarket.
Oh, okay.
I've been looking for a new personal item bag, and they actually have some really nice bags, but I'm not ready to commit. And you wanted to look for
Just look at electronics.
We did that. And then
We bought nothing except for one thing.
we bought it twice.
Yeah.
So we went in the grocery store, and of course we tend to gravitate towards the junk food. About 50% of it.
Yeah, and we bought brownies
Yeah, a package of brownies.
in a
Which
bag.
I was really excited. Brownies are something I keep saying, I'm going to make brownies when I get home. We're in line, and Jason's like, oh, they have self-checkout. And we're like, okay. Shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah.
Problem number 1.
And it wasn't even that long ago. I mean, there was no wait at the line.
No.
Yeah, we could have just waited, but I don't know why we decided to go
Because we're
self-checkout.
impatient.
Well, I think it was more like, oh, let's just use that.
So we go there, and the first sign and lesson learned, there was no way to change the language to English.
On the machine.
So we should have just said no at that point and walked away.
Well, now we know.
But we went ahead, and I was like, yeah, we can muddle through it. We're buying one item.
Yeah.
How hard can it be?
And we have Google Translate.
It had a little video, like you scan your item and then you pay. I
Yeah.
mean, that's what you do to self-checkout. Scan the item, it comes up, and we get an error at that point. Oh, it wanted
it's
something
some
about
buttons.
a card.
Yeah.
Like, did we have a card for that store? It said identification, and the light turned red. So the lady
No,
reluctantly.
you pushed a button. It said ask. You said, and it was like
It was stuck. though.
AZUR or something like that.
Yeah, it was like.
And we should have translated it, and we didn't.
Oh yeah, I pressed the button.
You press the button, and it said ask for assistance. Basically,
So she came over. And
it took her a while. I kind of had to look at her, and there was
Yeah.
nobody else in checkout. We were the only people in the whole thing, and I kind of turned and looked at her, and she eventually came over.
And she rapidly spoke in Spanish, and I said, no habla español, and she looked at the screen and like read it all to me and just pressed a button and walked away.
And she said, didn't she point towards the card?
Yeah, to pay. And I also had change in my pocket. I had $3 in euro, and I didn't do it. I was like, I'll just put it on the card. So you couldn't tap your card.
Yeah, you
I had to put it in the machine. And then it came up like it wanted me to sign it. So I did. You don't have to sign here anymore. Rarely. like almost never.
Yep.
And then it had like a green button to like accept the transaction.
A check mark or a red X, and then some other button doing that.
So
We hit the check mark, thinking that would be like a green check mark.
yeah, like we're done, and it didn't do anything.
Mm.
We tried it again, and
Then
at this point,
then it went back to asking for assistance.
yeah, the red light was on.
But we didn't hit any buttons. We just hit the check mark. Yeah, so it asked for assistance.
So
I turned away and looked at the lady again, but she was involved in a conversation with people she knew at that point.
or maybe not.
Maybe not. And
She had no.
yeah, there was
awareness.
no awareness of. She was totally involved in that conversation with people that were just walking by.
So we stood there, and we're trying to translate with the phone, trying to hit the cancel button, and
She still had her conversation going on.
the machine starts rebooting, like the
Yeah, it said error.
the credit card part.
Yeah.
It was like rebooting, restarting, and it had like something we could read.
I think ERR or something. I don't know, something different.
So, but we didn't have a receipt, and Jason's like, we could just go, and I'm like, yeah, but I don't. Did it go through? Did it not? I don't know.
No, I think you said we can just go. And
I didn't say that.
anyways, I
I
thought.
would never say
Yeah.
that.
Oh, you said let's just leave it or something like
Yeah, I
that.
was like, forget it. I'm not buying these two brownies. And you're like, you could just take them. And I was like, no. So now we go back to the original line we were in and pay. And I pay with my $3 change. And we leave. And I was frustrated.
So we ate the brownies, which were okay.
The brownies were good.
Not that great, but okay.
And
Your
better.
standard store bought. Yeah.
I like.
Okay.
And then I, of course, updating the budget this morning, I logged in my credit card and we got charged for it. So we paid
$5.
€5 for a bag of brownies. I may dispute the credit card charge. I saved my cash receipt because I was like, I could charge for this. I'm not paying that. But is it really worth
It's another one of those lessons learned.
my time?
If there's not an automatic translation on the thing, then just don't do it.
Walk away. So.
Yeah. So there you go.
And today's Thursday.
So that's just an example of the simplest thing can turn into something that's more of a challenge. But that's the point of doing.
It's a constant, your
learning.
brain is always
Yeah.
working.
It's to keep your brain active.
So today's the 27th. We don't have any big plans. Friday, the 28th, is Andalusia Day, which is the holiday that celebrates this region becoming like an autonomous region in 1980. We've seen signs for it, and the typical, what's that dance called?
Flamenco.
Flamenco dress has now changed to a white dress with green, and they have a sign, but I can find nothing online.
I just spent about an hour looking and couldn't really find anything.
But I feel like there are events. It's a national holiday, well, local holiday to Andalusia, so we anticipate like grocery stores being closed.
Yeah, we don't know.
We don't know. And we don't know if there's anything like a parade or something to go watch. If there are special clothes, it seems like there would be something. We don't know.
Who knows? So might see something.
We might wander around and see
Grocery
something.
stores might be open, they might not.
We don't
It
know.
might be packed on Saturday because it'll be if they're closed tomorrow and then closed Sunday, Saturday, and then if we're going Monday.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
Lots of planning.
Yeah.
So that's been our week. Another thrilling adventure. Monday we leave for Malaga.
And I'm sure that'll go smoothly.
It'll go smoothly. It's supposed to rain, you know.
Yeah, it never rains. Except for the day we do a soccer game.
I'm looking at the days, the app, and I was like, oh, it's going to rain Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday.
But we have raincoats from Jerez.
Yeah. And now it says it's not going to rain on Tuesday.
Yeah, the rain's not bad, even if it does rain.
Mm-hmm. So, another adventure. And then once we get back from Malaga, we have like 5 or 6 days.
Yep.
Which is crazy. And now I'm starting to get anxious about our next trip and starting to worry about that. So that is hard. And I'm trying to figure out a plan for fall.
But they have peanut butter.
Albania has peanut butter, which
I
is
found
Jason's.
out. I didn't look at Montenegro. I'm sure they probably do.
Jason's biggest concern in any
Yeah,
country
you
is the
gotta-
availability of peanut butter.
That makes your life a lot easier.
So
So that's it.
thanks for watching. Bye.